Hey everybody, Willie here with another Daily Hope devotional. I have a beautiful wife. Her name is Jane. She is amazing. And Jane and I got married 12 years ago. And we got married about 6 months after we got married. We found out we were pregnant with our first child. Now we felt like excited and also, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? Well, we had our first, and then 20 months later, we had our second. We thought we're drowning. How are we gonna do this? We were exhausted. We were financially strapped, and then next thing we know, we found out we were pregnant with our third. Now, this was way too much for us to handle. We were broke. We lived in a little small apartment. We were like, God, how can we fit all of us in this place? You've called us obviously to be parents to these wonderful children, but how are we going to do this? And God reminded me that before we had Eden, God really prepared my heart. He spoke to me and he said, I want you to get ready. And I said, ready for what? And he said, ready to start a family. Go figure, right? God called us and he literally prepared our hearts for the fact that we were going to start a family. I thought, how are we going to do this? How's this going to happen? And God continued to remind me that he was faithful and that he was going to provide for us. Now, we have today in Judges chapter 7, the story of Gideon, who's facing the Midianites. God was going to provide for Gideon. God tells Gideon, you've got this big army. The army's too big. Get rid of a bunch of the army. Gideon was like, wait, what? 22,000 people? Get rid of 22,000 people? God's like, yep, do it. The next thing you know, there's 10,000 soldiers left over. And God says to Gideon, need you to get rid of some more. Need you to get rid of some more. So Gideon does this little test that God tells him to do. Next thing you know, he ends up with 300 men to take out this whole army. That seemed like it was too big of a task for Gideon to do. But guess what? When God calls us to do something, he also provides. We used to say this thing in the church I grew up in. It was the saying, where God guides, he provides. And so in chapter 7 of Judges, verse 9, it says this, during that night, the Lord said to Gideon, get up, go down against the camp, because I'm going to give it into your hands. Not get up, go down into the camp because you're going to do it in your own strength. No. He didn't say, Willie, go have a bunch of kids and you got to figure out how to provide for them yourself. No. If God guides you or leads you into something, he also provides. And so I want to encourage you today, whatever it is that God's calling you to do, if you feel like God's speaking to you about something that is bigger than you can do in your own strength, well, that is awesome because it gives you and I an opportunity to trust in the faithfulness of God. Again, where God guides, he also provides. Every step of the way, I assure you, where God guides, he provides, okay? And sometimes the provision, it doesn't always look like what we think it should look like. It's not like I didn't end up with $1 million to raise my kids. I definitely did not. We actually went into a season that was harder than the one that we were in before. But God continued. We can look back. My wife and I look back on that season, and God continued to provide for us every step of the way. We can see his faithfulness, his hand of provision in the midst of what should have been an extremely trying and tough situation. So just know this, God loves you. He's for you. He's with you. And where he guides, he will also provide exactly what you need to endure the situation that he calls you to walk in. So God bless you today, and be encouraged knowing that God's with you every step of the way.